Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is Tuxedo Gin Volume 1 by Tokihiko Matsuura. And obviously this doesn't really fit in with a lot of the books I usually cover. And so let's explain here. Manga, the Japanese comic books, have many genres. And of those genres, I mainly cover what we call shonen or also seinen comics, which are basically young boys and adult or men's comics, essentially, right? This comic, however, is a romantic comedy, and it is part of the Shojo genre, and this is a genre for girls. Though I will say this particular manga, it has some cross appeal for both boys and girls reading it. I think the creator is a dude, but yeah. So why am I doing this manga volume? So I generally am not a fan of the romantic comedy genre of manga, or I don't think I've ever read a comic that was technically a romantic comedy genre. But I will say this, I have reviewed one on my channel though, by the way. If you go way back in time to my old manga reviews, I did review Love Hina, which is technically a romantic comedy. But Tuxedo Gin is kind of special. It's one of the few of the genre that I actually really enjoyed. I actually enjoyed enough to actually own the whole series. This series is about 13 volumes long. Which seems like forever, but for a manga, 13 volumes is actually kind of short. A lot of mangas are really long. So if you ever wanted a manga that you wanted to sit down and finish, Tuxedo Gin is actually in the realm of doable. 13 volumes isn't too bad. So this is actually a first printing. This was printed back in July 2003. Originally published in 1997 in Japan, translated by Viz Media. So anyhow, I babbled on long enough. We've been looking at this cover for a while. What is Tuxedo Gin about? So essentially, it's about the main character Genji here. You can see the opening chapter of this. By the way, something that I found out why I like this manga so much is it uses a lot of storytelling techniques that Americans use. Mainly each chapter in this manga has a recap of essentially the background and the story and the premise of the story. Some of it might be that the writer's trying to just draw things out, but some of it is also just very solid, good storytelling. Essentially keeps the reader involved, especially in when this thing was probably first getting published and it didn't have a lot of new readers. Right, so he ends up almost crashing into this girl, and this girl's also hot, as you saw before. And she finds out, so Genji is he's a really good fighter, but has he's kind of shy around girls. So you have definitely the romantic sort of slant all this, and he kind of relates this this chance encounter with his buddy Musashi. This is his buddy Musashi, and this girl that he met, her name being Minako, and when he reveals the girl's name to Musashi, he kind of like says, hey, why don't you join me for breakfast tomorrow at like 5 a.m. And Genji's like, what the hell? Okay, sure. And so they go wake up at the crack of dawn to go get breakfast, and he goes to this breakfast spot, and bam, there she is working. Oh, chance encounter. So it turns out Minako is his best friend's cousin. And, after a very awkward conversation between the two, he ends up asking her out, and they're about to go on a date together. And Genji's all fired up. He's a boxer, so goes through his first professional fight and knocks out this guy in like a second because he's so hyped up to go on a date with Minako. And then while they're motorcycling out, he's not necessarily paying attention. He doesn't realize this gangbanger cuts him off and throws all these pachinko balls while he's riding, and he falls essentially to his death over a bridge, right? And I say death with like quotation marks, right? It turns out, that through probably, and I'm kind of like remembering this because I'm rereading all of this stuff right here, through some very Deus Ex Machina type of mechanics by the author here. He's been like separated from his body, but his body isn't dying. And so what this Buddhist monk angel thing kind of proposes to him is like, hey, if you go back, you can get reunited with your body if you relive your life through the reincarnation cycle, right? And Genji's kind of like, that's a little rough. I'm not sure if I want to, because one of the problems is that you have to be reincarnated. Well, if you get reincarnated, you have to live through your natural life in order to get back to your original body in order to be reconnected. I know, right? This is kind of a Deus Ex Machina of a mechanic. But if he gets reincarnated as a human, it doesn't work because he has to live the natural life of a human, and his original body will pass out. So he has to essentially be reincarnated as an animal that doesn't live very long, right? So he's kind of thinking this over with the angel, and then they go over and it's like, hey, let's go, check on Minako. I never got to go on a date with her. And he finds out that even though she knows that he died, she's still waiting for him on this bench, and it turns out that she too was in love with him. So this convinces Genji to take on the quest and become reincarnated, and he becomes reincarnated as a penguin, which is kind of the angle and the trick of this whole series, right? Is the idea of the author here being able to draw essentially a cute penguin every single chapter, while also having a lot of romantic comedy, sitcom-like jokes going on. So yeah, like a funny flashback scene or dream sequences right here. And you have the introduction of Mike the penguin, which is a penguin he befriends. He's actually a genius penguin, but genius in like penguin terms. So you get a lot of fun right here. So he escapes the zoo and gets reunited with Minako. And then I'm actually going to have to skip right here because this is nudity and YouTube is freaking... almost did it. It's freaking lame like that. But yeah. Do I recommend this series? Well, let me put it this way. If you like rom-com, absolutely. I actually legitimately love this series, despite the fact that I'm actually not a big fan of the genre overall. And I think it's also a great series regardless of if you are a guy or a girl. Like, I could definitely recommend this to girls that I know, and I could recommend this to dudes, and I think you would get a great deal of enjoyment. Now, obviously... this is a rom-com, but I will say this: there is some action and some drama every now and then, and definitely a lot of humor and stuff throughout this series. So it's not completely just romance in like the Western term. There's a lot of humor involved in here, and very much like sitcom in a way. But yeah. Sorry, I like look at this book, and it just gives me a lot of memories because I kind of slightly grew up with this book. This is one of the few books that I could actually afford to collect when I was growing up. As you can see, it came out 15, 16, actually more than that, like 17 years ago. And it's one of the few mangas that I've been able to actually keep up with and collect as it was going on. So I have like a lot of memories of this manga. There's like freaking a bajillion romantic comedy mangas that are out there. So if you are interested in this genre, that's one area where the Japanese kind of have us Americans beat pretty easily. Mainly because comic books tend to only have a few genres, primarily superheroes, and then some westerns, some dramas, some other stuff, and a lot of crap that that the blue-haired people like a lot. But this one is kind of brings up the member berries for me to a degree. So kind of a short review for a manga. There's a whole volume right here, though. This genre isn't really one that you kind of go too much in depth with. You kind of pick these up and read them and just enjoy and laugh as you're going through them. So didn't want to take too much time here. Anyhow, enough nostalgia from me. That's the review. Let me know what you think. If you like this review, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you have any comments on Tuxedo Gin or the romantic comedy manga genre in general, leave it down below. And I will see you next time.